with not the uncertainty of Embiid. And I'm going to say this. Embiid, did you see his post-game interview?
Yes.
He wants a fresh start. I don't even know if I'm going to be here. That was a sign saying it's time for him a new change.
Well, you got to tell me who's going to take him. Who's going to take a 60?
That's not my job. Okay. That is not my job.
Okay. No, but it is a realistic question. Embiid's contract might legitimately be untradeable. It might just be the kind of thing where they just have to mutually agree that he's going to be there. I don't think he's going to agree to it.
I could see a team like the Phoenix Suns taking a swing at it.
Why not? It's a complete mess, right? I mean, put a finishing touch on it.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think what you're seeing is that everybody who's winning right now is playing with pace and space, and Joel Embiid no longer fits into the new algorithm of the NBA, especially with his injuries.
I think the flip side argument, and I'm on your side, is they don't beat Boston without him, right? There's no way they beat Boston without him.
I'm with you on that, Greeny, but look, let me tell you this. Joel Embiid came out with an article, I think it was this past season.
Yeah.
Right before the season or early this season, where he was basically saying he don't trust the organization. So you're telling me Joel Embiid is walking into that organization, trusting the medical staff, trusting anything anybody has to say? A change of scenery. We don't know what Joel Embiid look like if he get loved and get into another situation where the medical staff is different.
Okay, I've got a ton.
I know we lost, and I know that's not the right mentality to have. But, for me, this was a success. We came into the season thinking that, there was not much left, based on the last 2 years. And now I'm sitting here, not even worried about my knee. I feel like I still played as hard as I could. I fought hard. I tried to give us a better chance to win. I don't know who's going to be here. I don't even know if I'm going to be here, but, whatever happens, happens. But, for me, I'm excited about, really getting back to myself.
All right, so question marks obviously surrounding the 76ers. Where do they go from here, Perk?
Yeah, they got to have a coming to Jesus meeting. And the only three people that should be untouchable is VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey, and Nick Nurse. And by the way, it's time for Daryl Morey to go. Bob Myers just left our network. By the way, he done an outstanding job because he's basically overseeing a lot of that stuff or overseeing what's going on with the 76ers. And when you think about what's going on, Paul George is owed $54 million next year. Joel Embiid is owed about $55 to $56 million last year. What's going to happen is that you're probably going to have to tie a first-round pick to each one of those guys in order to trade them for a team to take them on. Far as Joel Embiid, this relationship has run its course. It's time for both parties to separate. I think it would be in the best interest for the organization, and it would also be in the best interest for Joel Embiid. I believe Joel Embiid needs a change of scenery. I believe Joel Embiid needs a
Warriors fans, let me ask you a question I bet almost nobody in Dub Nation is asking the right way. What if Joel Embiid to Golden State is not about building another pretty super team headline? What if it is about solving the one problem that has quietly haunted the Warriors for years? The lack of a true interior force who can punish playoff defenses when Steph Curry gets smothered. Because that is why this idea is so fascinating. The clip you brought in is not subtle at all. They are basically saying Philadelphia has real business decisions to make, that Joel Embiid may need a fresh start, and that the Sixers cannot keep living in this cycle of uncertainty around his health, his contract, and the team's identity. Kendrick Perkins goes as far as saying it is time to part ways, while the panel keeps circling the same uncomfortable reality. Tyrese Maxey feels like the future, but the structure still bends around Embiid. Now, before anybody screams, that contract is impossible, let's be honest. Yes, that is the biggest obstacle. Reuters reported this month that Embiid played only 38 regular season games this season because of injuries, after also missing huge chunks of prior years, and he was in and out again during the Knicks series with hip and ankle issues. Even so, when he played, he still gave Philadelphia 26.9 points, 7.7 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.2 blocks. That is still star-level impact. That is still the profile of a player who changes a team's ceiling if the environment is right. And this is where I think Warriors fans should lean in, because the usual Embiid conversation is always framed around what goes wrong in Philly. I want to frame it around what could actually go right in Golden State. Steph Curry is still the most extreme gravity weapon basketball has ever seen. Steve Kerr still believes in movement, spacing, and quick decisions. Draymond Green still gives you connective playmaking and defensive communication. What the Warriors have not consistently had is a true offensive pressure point inside. A guy who can get 2 feet in the paint, live at the line, force double teams on the block, and make defenses think twice about selling out on Steph above the arc. Embiid does that immediately. He changes the geometry of the floor in the opposite direction. That matters. Think about the playoff math. Teams trap Steph, switch Steph, crowd Steph, and dare the Warriors to hurt them somewhere else. Embiid gives Golden State an answer they almost never have. You trap Steph? Fine, dump it inside. You switch smalls onto actions? Fine, feed the big man and make them pay. You chase shooters off the line? Fine, Embiid can score in the post, at the elbow, or get to the foul line. And the most underrated part? He is not just a scorer. He is a passer good enough to keep the Warriors' ball movement ecosystem alive instead of killing it. That is why this is more interesting than people think. It's not just big star joins small team. It's contrasting forces that actually complement one another. Now, would there be risk? Absolutely, massive risk. The health history is real. The salary is massive. The Warriors would have to sacrifice real assets, and maybe more importantly, they would have to believe their medical infrastructure, culture, and style could unlock a version of Embiid that Philadelphia has not consistently been able to sustain. And the clip makes a crucial point on that front. One of the panelists basically says, we do not know what Embiid looks like if he is loved in a different environment, with a different medical staff and a different organizational rhythm. That is the line that stuck with me. Because if Golden State believes it can offer stability, joy, and cleaner role definition, then suddenly the conversation changes from why would they do that to what if they are one of the few places where this could actually work. And here's the favorable truth for Dub Nation. The Warriors are one of the rare teams that can make a move like this feel purposeful instead of desperate. Steph is still elite. Kerr still gives stars a real system. The franchise still thinks in banners, not vibes. Embiid would not need to be the face of the team. He would need to be the interior force that makes the entire Curry experience harder to defend. That is a very different kind of pressure than he has carried in Philadelphia. So, let me ask you this, Warriors fans. If the Sixers ever truly decide to reset around Maxey, should Golden State be one of the first teams calling about Joel Embiid? Do you see him as too risky, or as the missing interior star this team has never really had in the Steph era? Drop your opinion in the comments, hit like, and subscribe, because sometimes the boldest Warriors move is not the one everybody is screaming about, it's the one nobody saw through the right basketball lens.